I want to describe again the diet that I use for this ENS condition. I'm 15 years old after the 15 years after the surgery, and during this time I also developed, besides the dryness of nostrils and also the blockage, I also developed problems with lungs, with kidneys, and constipation, and all these are related to each other actually. So this diet, it's all about eating only certain foods, but also about not eating after a certain hour before going to bed. I explained the reason in another video. Just want to give you more details about what I eat and what I don't eat. So basically my main dishes, if you want, are very limited to bread, which I bake myself, and it's a pita bread. It's a thin bread, which I also toast before I eat it. So it's basically not completely dry, but it's not soft, because soft bread, it's causing more dry nostrils to me. Also, I eat pasta. I mix it sometimes I mix it with ground meat, but it's a vegetarian one. And I would eat in the summertime, I eat not a lot of fruits. I eat maybe apples, strawberries and raspberries. However, these are about the fruits that I would be able to eat, that don't cause me problems. Also, I need to point out that during my meals, I always, while I'm eating the meal, I also eat, and this is important for the constipation part. Actually, I used to eat lettuce to help with the constipation, but it's no longer really working for me. And I explained in another video, the reason for the constipation part is that the body dehydrates because of the lungs lose humidity, and this is a long-term result of ENS, nostril dryness. And because the body is dehydrated, the colon, the intestines are drier, and this is what slows down the food from advancing through the intestine. This is exactly what is causing constipation. And I have to mix my food. Basically, I chew at the same time with the food. Actually, I no longer eat lettuce, I eat cabbage. I eat, it's called Napa, N-A-P-A cabbage. And you can look up online what it looks. Why is the Napa cabbage better than the lettuce? It's because the Napa cabbage is very juicy, if you want. It has a lot of water in it, while the lettuce, regular lettuce, has very little water in it. So the cabbage, this Napa cabbage, helps my digestion. It's not yet great. I don't have zero constipation, but it helps this thing. In the past, I used to eat only lettuce, and that would help me. But the thing, my body is getting even drier now. Just the time passing by, and that lettuce is no longer really working for me, so I have to switch to cabbage. So you see all this, you need to kind of observe what's happening with your body and adjust consequently when you can adjust it, obviously. There are also a lot of foods that I don't eat for several reasons, either because it does cause my nostrils to get drier, like I explained in another video. The reason is constipation, and maybe look for an explanation. I want to repeat it here because it may seem strange for people if they don't understand the link. So either because some foods cause me to have my nostril dryers, or because my kidneys, which have some damage to them, are no longer filtering my blood properly, no longer work properly, and they react to specific foods, the kidneys that is. And these foods which affect my kidneys are, I just give you a wide example, the nuts. Nuts you can search online. They have oxalate to them, and this may deposit inside the kidneys, especially when your kidneys are weak. not well functioning, or when you are eating large amounts of nuts. I can no longer eat any kind of nuts. I can try to remember to explain you what's a accumulative effect some point with some foods. Also, I cannot eat, for instance, sugar because of the kidneys. If I eat sugar, my kidneys will cause a lot of urination, which will dehydrate my body. And by the way, this urination is hopefully you know ahead, right? Because what happened to me, I didn't know what was happening at that time until I understood, and I fixed this. I prevented this now. But what was happening is when I would eat something sweet, didn't have to be a big amount of sweetness, just something sweet, sometimes even just tomatoes, ripe tomatoes. After about 2 hours or so, but it will vary, maybe 1 hour up to 4 hours or so, depends on the digestion. I would have this extremely urgent need of urinating. It will happen all of a sudden, just like someone would punch me, and from that moment, from the impulse of going to the bathroom, I would have, maybe, depends on the worst scenario, I could not hold it more than 30 seconds or so. So imagine what that caused me several times, because I had to travel with my car sometimes for 1 hour, and I would happen in the middle of the travel. I just better don't remember these things. So that incredible instant, you all of a sudden, so it doesn't build up like normal urge to urinate in a healthy person. It's just bam, all of a sudden I have to go to the bathroom, otherwise it's impossible to hold it, believe it or not. All that was caused by sugar in blood, because my kidneys no longer can remove the sugar, and I did test for diabetes. The taste went negative. So it's the kidney that's problem. They have to filter the blood, remove the sugar from the blood. So the kidneys were no longer properly working, and this sudden urge to urinate, I'm preventing it now by completely removing anything sugary, anything sweet from my food, but also even fruits that are very sweet, such as maybe grapes, or even sometimes tomatoes. I don't know why tomatoes cause this thing, but it's really basically what you do is that you try to remove some foods, and or maybe just remove and add, do a test during a few days, and you see how do you react to this. That's how I determine that sweetness and some foods were causing this problem with urination. I still need to go to bathroom maybe every 2 hours or so, depends, 1 to 3 hours, because I need to drink constantly water through the day. I explained this in another video. This replenish, because I dehydrate, so I have to give my body back water through the day, and this is important. So this also brings me to the bathroom very often, but at least now that I don't eat anything sweet, I no longer have that instant urge to go to the bathroom, so I manage it better, and I know it's just a normal now feeling when I need to go to the bathroom. So this was caused by sugar, sweet foods, and also I believe was caused possibly by, there may be other foods that may cause this. I also no longer eat foods such as bananas, for instance. This is a good example because it has a lot of potassium. So potassium, it's also too much potassium, it's hard on weak kidneys. So if you look online, you will see that people say if you have problems with your kidneys, you need to take more potassium. That is true, you need to have some levels of potassium, but if you go past those levels, if you get too much potassium from your foods, then a weak kidney will overreact and will just cause you urination. And also in my case, the excess of potassium, because at some point I was eating a lot of bananas, excess of potassium caused my blood pressure to skyrocket all of a sudden only during nighttime. So my blood pressure usually is normal, But all of a sudden, after eating a lot of bananas for several weeks, my blood pressure went really from maybe 120 to 140, 50, only at nighttime. I don't know why at nighttime. Maybe because at nighttime I'm more dehydrated. I don't know. There are several links between these things. And my heart was really punching in my chest. So the day I stopped eating bananas, all went back to normal, to 120 blood pressure, normal value, and I no longer have that heart beating at night. It was really very strong beating. Basically, you think you are going to die, basically. This, I'm just giving you, I may not remember everything I do, but I'm just giving you tips, so maybe people who have similar issues, or at least a part of them, just get ideas. I was talking about heart beating. I also get sometimes heart beating from, I believe, I'm not very sure, but I believe if I would eat for a while, even very small amount of nuts, but also other food that causes this, I think it's Splenda. So this is a sweetener, if you want. Even really, I'm talking very small amounts. Like when I say Splenda, is less than a teaspoon per day. But so this what I think it's causing me, it causes the nostril to get drier at nighttime, sometimes even blocked. But also it causes my heart to have some pounding at nighttime. I'm not sure if it's changing the blood pressure. I no longer have that. There's something that you measure it. I no longer measure it. But so some foods, like I said, maybe nuts, maybe which involve oxalates, maybe like I said, Splenda, maybe coffee. I don't know. I drink coffee, but decaffeinated. So this is recently happened to me. I started to drink a little bit of coffee, decaf coffee with Splenda every day, and also eating some nuts. I think was sunflower seeds, roasted without salt. And by the way, I cannot eat salt any longer, again because of my kidneys react and cause too much urination. So these seeds and the Splenda and maybe the coffee part, after eating them, also I think I took a little bit of milk with the coffee, so really small amounts in the morning only. It went well about 2 weeks or so. I didn't see any reaction, and then after 2 weeks I start getting my nostrils more dry at night, more blocked at night, some heart pounding at night. So it's only after a certain period of time. This was not right away. And then I stopped completely eating those seeds, that coffee, and whatever else with that milk. And the nostrils, when that dryness of the nostrils and that hard palpitations went away. So this I'm no longer eating those seeds and coffee for this reason. But what I'm saying about these specific foods, nuts and coffee part and Splenda perhaps, is that the reaction from this was not right away the same day. It happened after about 2 weeks, and this is what I would call a delay reaction. There are not many foods that do this. Most of the foods that cause me, for instance, nostril problems or kidney problems, react the same day. I will have the same next night, my nostrils will be too dry. Most of the foods, and if I stop the food the day after, the next night, my nostrils are no longer dry. So most of the foods react the same day, or if you want, the same night. However, certain foods have this kind of delayed reaction, which takes 1, 2, 3 weeks to build up. And this is annoying because you can no longer really understand, you can no longer really test the food if it's having a problem for you or not on a daily basis. It's more confusing. But anyhow, I'm just sharing this information with you. Other things that I don't eat are, I said it in other videos, are any kind of milk products, any kind, I repeat. They cause my nostrils to become dry at night and blocked sometimes. depends if I would take more. Also, I don't eat, I can tell you, I don't eat any kind of soft bread or alike products. I don't eat, try to kind of memorize this, remember these things. Yeah, for now my brain doesn't produce more information, so there are several other foods that I would, okay, this one also, any acidic foods. I said I do eat strawberries, and what happens, for instance, some strawberries are correctly ripe and sweet. Those will cause me more urination, not too much, but those don't cause much problems. However, if the strawberries are not properly ripe and taste acidic, that will cause that sudden feeling of urge to urinate, and will cause more urination, and even during the night will cause nostril dryness. So this, I believe, is related to kidneys. The kidneys don't like acidity, and don't like also too much C vitamin. For instance, I no longer touch any kind of orange juice or fruit. So acidity, but also perhaps, I'm not sure if it's the same thing, C vitamin, also I skip these things. And by the way, while there, this is just information from internet, it seems that vitamin supplements, the pills that you have with vitamins, you find this in drugstores, these are also hard in the long term on weak kidneys. So be aware of this. Maybe you don't want to use those ingredients. So yes, this is just sharing this. Yes, but maybe just a very important part of all this, I talked about food. It's also about eating hours. It's critical. I explained this in other videos. So usually I will no longer eat after maybe 1 in the afternoon, only drink water. And by the way, I don't drink juices on any kind, right? No Coca-Cola, no orange juice, no nothing. No apple juice because it's too sweet. So I don't eat after 1 p.m. in the afternoon until I go to bed. I go to bed, I don't really feel hunger. Sometimes I feel hunger, but I got used to it. However, it was very difficult. It took me at least 2 years to get used to this kind of not eating for so many hours. And I go to bed. Unfortunately, sometimes I wake up at night and I can no longer go back to sleep because, unfortunately, if you don't eat for many hours, your blood sugar goes too low. That's called hypoglycemia, I think, as opposed to hyperglycemia. So if your blood sugar, yes, it's too low, that could cause insomnia. So just be aware of this. So yes, this is really important. Besides the foods, the choice of food, also the hours of the meal, it's really important not to eat many hours and go back to sleep basically without having eat for, I would say, at least 8 hours or so. So that's very difficult to achieve, but it's doable if you just kind of do it progressively, right, over a very long period of time. Lower the last meal hour progressively until, that's how I did it, until it's almost in the middle of the day, the last meal. So yes, this is just my, how I deal with these things. Again, imagine, so I have to kind of help my nostril dryness, my kidneys problems, the constipation problem. There's a lot of things, but that's how you get through. Hopefully it's possible. I'm not saying I'm doing very well. I'm not saying my nostrils are like in a healthy person at all, but at least they are no longer very dry, and at least I can kind of manage this kidney problem and this constipation problem. I can tell you that the constipation problem, oh boy, I don't know how to explain this, but when you don't go to the toilet for maybe 3 weeks or more, just imagine what that means. And by the way, I think I have videos on my channel. If you have such severe constipation issue, there are things that you can do. What I recommend at that point, just eat 1 day or 2 day, try to eat only cabbage. Just get the full amount of cabbage. This may help. I'm not sure if it goes deep into your intestine to dislodge what's blocked in there. I just remember now, and by the way, another thing that you can do with severe constipation, there's a solution. Maybe search on my channel. I don't exactly remember the names now, but you can also try taking more fiber, so a supplement fiber, just like metamucil kind. Just take larger amounts throughout for 1 day or 2 day with each meal, but really larger amounts, and maybe this travels down the intestine and gets things moving, right? So if you have this problem, and I was saying that I take cabbage during the summer and also some fruits. Now during winter time, I will no longer have access to fruits and vegetables normally, just a little bit, but not too much. So in winter time, I switched to fiber supplements, and that poses a problem because those fiber supplements are relatively hard on weak kidneys. They cause more urination. Sometimes they may even cause kidney pain. I try not to use the fiber supplements that uses artificial sweeteners. I try to use the ones that use only sugar, because that's how they come. It's always mixed with sugar. So again, that would cause me more urination, more problem, and I have to eat those fiber supplements, actually drink it after every meal. So usually I will let perhaps 1 hour, I will wait 1 hour after finishing eating, and then I will take a glass with the fiber supplements, but after really each meal, to replace if I can no longer find cabbage or things, basically cabbage in winter time. So that's, and also be aware, if you have issues with severe constipation, one of the things that caused me the worst constipation problem were actually cream products with cream, such as ice cream or anything. It's just, even if you just add cream to your milk or so, cream appeared, at least to me, to be really causing the worst problem with constipation. However, at this point where I am with my body dehydration, which I explained in other videos, basically every meal, everything will cause constipation, because the intestines are dry, are no longer, has to be very humid to move the food. That's what's causing actually the digestion. It's using a very wet intestine lumen as the inner face of the intestine to have the food travel. That's how the food is moving, with the contractions of the intestines. So it has to be humid, and because my body is now dehydrated, is no longer humid, it's causing constipation basically with any food. But the cream, when I was eating years ago, cream, that was even worse. It was worsening this kind of constipation problem. Hopefully it gives you this, gives you ideas and eventually any help if you have similar problems. Look in my ENS playlist. Check my other videos on the subject. Thanks for watching.